y'all, it's Michael. Today I just wanted to talk about expanding on your style and refining it. For whatever reason, the concept of style is something that I think about constantly. Like I don't understand why, but it's a pretty useless train of thought, but I go into it quite a bit. So I felt the need to make this video because I feel like I could give some points that not a lot of other people that have made videos like this talk about. So I figured I would throw my hat in the ring and let you all know my thoughts on it, because maybe it could influence how you think about how you get dressed every day, or maybe you all already know this shit and this is just me preaching to the choir. But either way, I'm gonna fucking talk at you anyway. To start off, I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that this is something that I've heard a lot of people in the industry agree on, and that's that fashion isn't even about the clothes, it's about the feeling that you get whenever you wear them. Like you're sort of embodying something rather than just putting on decorations for yourself, I guess. It's more of, I'm wearing this and this is the character that I want to play out, I guess. Expanding upon that, style is sort of an everyday embodiment of that feeling, I would say. So it's sort of like you're a bit of a movie character in your everyday life, if that makes sense. And style is a bit of a complex, unique way of expressing yourself, and I feel like that gets bogged down by a lot of what's popular to wear today. The best example I can think of that is something like wearing graphic t-shirts all the time. I feel like they don't really leave room for any imagination or romanticism that like a garment that's just like flowy or shows off your physique well can say about somebody. A graphic t-shirt's more just black and white, like here's what I want you to see. I'm wearing a fucking black metal band t-shirt, so I'm edgy. It's just super black and white, not really exciting. But in discovering style, it's like everything in the fashion industry, it's sort of a non-linear path. There's not really a checklist that I can tell you to go down to figure out how your wardrobe needs to be set up for you to embody your personality every day, which is something that I've really started to work on, is wearing clothes that sort of somebody can just look at me and see what I'm about, like what my personality is, I would say. And I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of that lately. My style's really starting to refine itself and come into maturity, I guess. And one big thing to keep in mind is that style and fashion aren't really about like colors and patterns, which is something that a lot of people seem to be stuck on. It's sort of obvious, but this is base level fashion knowledge, I guess. But fashion is more about shapes and silhouettes than colors and patterns. So I get more of an idea of what somebody's about from how their clothes fit them and how they flow, rather than what colors they're wearing, or if they're wearing like a super loud outfit. I feel like shapes and silhouettes sort of give off a bit more of a personality than just what colors you're wearing or tones or whatever. Even though they still are a big part, you can tell a lot by somebody in an all black outfit. But that realization is sort of the quickest way to subconsciously how you put outfits together, or even how you look for pieces to add to your wardrobe, because experimenting with shapes and silhouettes is the best way that you can sort of set yourself apart, I guess. Even though that setting yourself apart isn't really something that you should strive for. It should be more of you looking to express yourself rather than just being unique, in my opinion, because at that point it's just sort of disingenuous if you just want to be different, because you can just do that on your own with your own personality. I feel like once you sort of get an idea of what you're into. But refining your style requires a lot of stepping out of your comfort zone, so experimenting with shapes and silhouettes that you wouldn't normally wear. And the more that you step out of that comfort zone, the more progress you'll see. It's exponential. It's sort of obvious, but I feel like a lot of people are just sort of stuck and don't really, I don't know, they have this mindset that, oh, wide pants are in right now, skinny pants are out, so I'm not gonna wear that shit. Like, that's not even style at that point, that's just being trendy. Not that incorporating trends into your style is a bad thing, but style has much more longevity than trend. So I'm gonna get into my list now, fucking however many minutes in. Sorry for the wait. The first unique point that I can give you that I haven't really heard before is to experiment with how clothes accentuate your physique. And what I mean by that is wearing baggy clothes has become a bit of the thing right now, I would say. So a lot of people have just completely disregarded wearing more tight-fitting garments, I would say. Not to disregard the Jean-Paul Gaultier tattoo long sleeves that have become so trendy, but it seems like those are the only shirts that I see people wearing that accentuate their physique. I've gotten into wearing sort of tighter shirts, crop tops. I've been working really hard on my body, so I figure I might as well incorporate it into my style, I guess. I like to wear shirts with sort of thinner sleeves, nice fitting jeans sometimes. I'm on that baggy pants thing right now, but I definitely dabble in my slim jeans. But the trends of baggy and skinny can work against a personal style and a body type, if that makes sense. Baggy pants and skinny pants don't work for everybody, and it really just comes with knowing what works for you and what fits you, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to make something look effortless and baggy pants don't look right on you, it's not gonna look effortless, and your style isn't gonna be as refined, like, oh, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing. So moving on from there, I'd say a second one that's a pretty good suggestion that I've really been working on lately is to drop preconceived ideas of masculinity and femininity as they are assigned to exclusive genders. In my mind, there's just nothing that makes something inherently feminine or masculine. The concept of gender assignments, I guess, is so fucking far left field to me. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Who the fuck decided such and such is masculine and whatever is feminine? And I feel like that's something that fashion is really starting to move towards. You're seeing a ton of unisex brands pop up, so I would say just don't be afraid to wear something because somebody says it's girly. If there's any women watching this channel, if something's too manly, but I guess that's not really as much of a problem for girls. Another point that I have to make with that is that women's clothing is so much more experimental than men's. It's ridiculous. Like, you go to women's wear collections, the variation between any piece is so much more vast than any fucking menswear collection. It's ridiculous. I guess that just really comes with a more female-oriented interest in fashion through history, but it kind of blows. So if you're looking to experiment more, there's just always way more options in the women's section, I would say. So don't be afraid to look in the women's section because there's plenty of shit that you can find that would definitely work for you. The third thing that I want to say is if you see something that you think might look good on you, fucking try it on, for the love of God. I'm so tired of seeing comments like, this looks so fucking good, but I'll get clowned if I wore this. Who gives a shit? You don't really have anything to lose. If somebody's opinion of you changes because of something that you wear, then how much does their opinion really matter? That's a very shallow way to assess someone's value, I would say. If you lose any friends because of the way you dress, those people aren't fucking there for you anyway. There's no reason to keep somebody around that doesn't support you unconditionally, so don't be afraid of losing people because of the way that you dress, because those people don't fucking matter. Next point I want to get into is don't shy away from cosmetic experimentation. And what I mean by that is dyeing your hair, getting tattoos, painting your nails. Cosmetic experimentation is an extension of accessorizing to me, and I feel like accessorization is the make or break part of every single outfit, because it's the small fine details that bring everything together, in my opinion. Moving on from that, this sort of plays into the point before last, but you should always just take pride in knowing that if you saw someone that looked like you and was wearing what you're wearing in the same room as you, you would think that person's a fucking badass or they're sick. That was the big thing for me in coming to terms with confidence in how I dress, is that I look in the mirror and I really like what I'm wearing. Nobody can tell me shit if I like what I'm wearing. That's the bottom line, and nobody can tell you shit if you like what you're wearing. Unsolicited opinions don't change who you are. A sixth point that I want to get into is to embrace the culture that you grew up in. I have seen 1,000,001 people firsthand in the town that I grew up, rural Kentucky, fucking backwoods, just people who have not grown up around that culture at all, just acting like they're from the inner city or developing an accent that they didn't have growing up, or just appropriating a culture because you think it looks cool. That shit is so fucking whack. You lose all credibility when it comes to uniqueness, because that's not you. I've come to terms much more with like the music and the people that I grew up around. While I can't appreciate all of the culture that I grew up in, the bits and pieces of it that I can pull out that I did enjoy, I love them now, and they kind of make me who I am, I guess. It's just so much more genuine, I feel like. That's something that I would recommend you all strive towards if you're sort of stuck in that cycle, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure there were parts of me at some point in high school where I'd sort of acted like someone that I wasn't. But if you do genuinely like something, it doesn't make you a poser. I don't think this is contradicting what I just said, because as I've grown, I've found more interests that I was not exposed to at a younger age, because I wasn't part of the Tumblr phase or any of that shit, the internet era around 2010, 11, 12. I wasn't a part of that because I wasn't exposed to it in the area that I live. So I've sort of started to take in bits and pieces from alternative culture and incorporate it into my style, because it's stuff that I can relate to and appreciate as much as I didn't grow up with it. So I feel like that's not nearly as bad as appropriating, I would say. But sort of building off that, don't be a fucking gatekeeper at the same time. I see so many fucking times on like these fashion meme pages, these fucking elitists who think that just because they knew what CCP was fucking 2 years ago, that they are automatically fashion fucking gods, and anybody that wears CCP in 2019 is a poser or some shit. Just because you don't like Supreme and you fucking own a pair of Guidi boots doesn't make you a goddamn fashion god. Fucking get over yourself. Those people are fucking dorks. But anyway, the end goal for a refined style is an effortless look, I would say. I feel like the best examples of that are people like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. I know it's sort of basic, but if you look at them, you see it looks like they just threw the shit on and they're just fly as fuck. And that should sort of be the goal, I would say. The end goal of refining your style. You don't have to wear all designer to look stylish. Style and fashion are so far removed from each other, in my opinion, that I see people every day that I think are dressed nice, but I can tell they don't give a fuck about fashion. I hope I gave a bit of a unique insight on the topic. If I didn't, I'm sorry for wasting your time. That's about it. And I apologize if I seem a bit unenergetic. I am pretty fucking tired, but anyway, follow me on Instagram at tandy.jpg. I will be coming out with a recent pickups video soon, so be on the lookout for that. I've been apartment hunting lately, so pretty busy, but yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.